All right, Shalom, family. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in Yahweh's sight. He is our strength and our Redeemer, and it is in His name, which is His authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and protect. Nice message. Aman. Welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in. Hopefully, everybody's doing well. Barak Allah Cham Yahweh, and I Kofi, head of the servants of Christ. Mashalom. Hello, everybody. I am Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant of Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time, by being the voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. Prayerfully, you're having a great day today. Hopefully, you're doing well. Hopefully, you're continuing to do awesome things that the Most High has for you, and you're continuing to learn and grow. And we're thankful and grateful for another opportunity to be in front of you all again. Tonight, we're going to jump right into the content, so to speak, into the message. We give all honor and praise once again to the Most High. We give all praise and honor to Him for my wife, the Honorable Maya, who lives a life that's able to be honored. You can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish, not A-N-D, the letter N. Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. Thank you so much for being on with us. We appreciate you. How you doing, Brother Charles? How you doing, Sister Renee? How you doing, JoJo? Everybody who's on, we appreciate your presence and thank you for joining us. Hopefully this will be something that is a blessing to you, this message, and hopefully it helps you to get into the weekend. Shabbat Shalom. For those of you who are treating this as Shabbat, Shai Shalom. For those of you who are treating this as the sixth day according to the Israelite calendar. Either way, we're thankful and grateful for you all. Thanks for being on. How you doing, Sister Night? How you doing, Spiritual Prospect? Tonight, I've been sent to come from the subject matter, this kingdom subject matter, this kingdom questioning, which hopefully takes us towards enlightenment. Tonight, I would like to talk specifically about. If we were to give a theme to this, we have uplifted the wrong things. Right? We have uplifted the wrong things. And thank you for the love. Appreciate it. How's everybody doing? Come on in. We have uplifted the wrong things. We have uplifted things, and now we're trying to figure out, why are things so bad? Why is this so looked at so bad? Why is up, down, down, up? Why is south, north, north, south? Le monde à l'envers. Literally, the world has been flipped upside down. How do we deal with this? Right? How you doing, Sister Monica? How do we deal with a society that has literally not done what it's supposed to do? Right? Prayerfully, can you guys hear me on TikTok, on YouTube? Hopefully our Wi-Fi signal is all right. But how do we deal with the society? How do we deal with something specifically to where we are seeing things that are not necessarily correct? How do we deal with these things? How do we deal with what Yah is trying to show us and bless us with and keep us correct with when we have uplifted the wrong thing? We have worshipped God instead of Elohim. We have been taught to give honor to half man, half Zeus, and sprinkle some Jesus on everything and not be in tune with what Yahshua would like for us as a people. We have uplifted the wrong things. I was watching a little bit on the fighter by the name of Israel Adesanya, West African, I believe. Not sure. I think he's Nigerian. I could be wrong on that. Doesn't really uplift the things of Nigeria necessarily, even though he does support Francis Ngannou, if you know who I'm even talking about. But nevertheless, somebody who people are trying to say, well, what's up with him now? How you doing, Sister Nadine? And to the ministers, the ministerial staff, to the moderators, SOC, I bow down to you. Thank you so much for being on with us. And everybody's talking about how bad it is, if we can't look up to him or he's not saying anything of value. How you doing, Whitney? Thanks for being part of the community tonight. And we're having all these people speak on what's wrong, what's this and that. He's somebody that's bad. But here's the problem. We didn't want to look at anything as far as righteousness. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't that he lies. He tells the truth, but he tells the truth about things that are not righteous and lives that life. But we didn't look for somebody who was honorable as far as representing the diaspora. We looked at somebody who wins. We've uplifted the wrong thing. And we've looked at winning as something different than what is our culture and what is even biblical, if we want to go there, right? We did not lift up the greatness of the spirituality of Israel. In this case, Israel Adesanya. We lifted up, hey, he wins fights. Now we have this person that wins fights but has character that's not becoming of us, and our children are watching it, and the people who were his fans watched it, these fanatics, and they could care less about him, his personality, what he was teaching you, all these things. And now you've realized, as far as teaching cultural rhetoric that's not apologetically sound, you've seen that his life doesn't add up until now everybody's against him. How you doing, Joy Boy? And now everybody's coming to this knowledge. Oh, well, he doesn't mean anything. He's not somebody who articulates. He's not somebody who builds up. He's not somebody that we as an MMA society, I'm not talking about me, but those who follow that stuff, right, as closely as they do, we don't like him because he's not somebody who's a great representative of us. But the problem is that you weren't looking for somebody to represent you. You were looking for somebody who's a winner. But what is a winner? See, we've uplifted the wrong things. What is a winner in society today? What is a winner? How does winning work? What makes you a winner? What makes you somebody who we consider to be great? Is it just you make enough money? How you doing, Sister Toya? How you doing, Moshe? Yeah, Shabbat Shalom. The problem is we look to man too much, and we need to spend more time in our Bibles. Flesh and blood won't enter into the kingdom. Yeah, that's very true, right? So when we say that, and I'm with you, right? So when we say that, what does that mean? Right, even to the person who's a non-believer, those who are being grafted in, is those who are Israel and are not. But at some point, we love for them to be grafted back into the tree of Yahashada'al and a proper biblical belief. We have a lot of people that have even Balaam doctrine. We're warned about it. As always, we talk about that. Revelation chapter 2, verse 14. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to Numbers 22, 23, and 24. Right. And so we have this doctrine that is supposed to be a stumbling block unto us, including when we think somebody's a winner. So I'm totally with you. How you doing, Anthony? How you doing, Michael? Michael, praise God for you. How you doing, Minister Tamach? How you doing? Yeah, the society, especially here that we're in, most definitely. We're in a system that is systematically put in place that we systemically believe that going away from what is kingdom winning, kingdom psychology, kingdom mentality is something that we should uplift more. How you doing, Sister Kimberly? Right. We have lifted up the wrong thing. We've been taught to lift up the wrong thing. We've been taught to hang in there and appreciate the wrong things. Shabbat Shalom. How you doing? How you doing, Young? I'm sorry. For instance, you mentioned Lauryn Hill the other day, and you said she was underage and messing with Wyclef and Mary. Man, I found that morally incorrect. Where was the accountability on him? Yeah, well, most definitely. First of all, even where was the accountability with her? We're not going to act like she shouldn't have known any better, especially from her lyrics and songs, that she should have known any better. But yeah, where was the accountability? You're absolutely right. Right. And so, yeah, she's underage, and we just turned a blind eye. For those who knew, to be honest with you, I didn't really recognize they were an item till I saw the whole Dave Chappelle road trip or bus trip or whatever that movie was, that he had a concert and he brought them on stage. And that was the first time I actually realized, oh, these people were a couple, but Wyclef is married. How you doing, Big Brother Thomas? But once again, we uplift the wrong thing. So those who were telling us, listen to the Fugees and operating them and give them this love and praise. And then I'm not going to act like they had terrible music. They had great music, as far as at least beats and things like that. And oftentimes, messages that made you think, even if maybe, well, I'll leave that alone. I won't judge their music, as far as if you like it or not. You do what you do. But I'm just saying, we didn't look to see what they were building as far as character. Did we want to, right? And we lifted it up. We were taught to pay for it. We were taught that if you didn't pay for it, you didn't support it, you're not supporting your own. This is what people do even with hip hop, right? The person who literally glorifies offing people through dope, through cocaine, through crack, right? And glorifies being the best one or the hardest one, in prison, is the one that we look at and we say, see, they made it. We made it. But that's why are we uplifting that? How you doing, DB? Shabbat Shalom to you. Yeah, we definitely on the same page. How you doing, Brother TJ? We definitely on the same page, Moshe, right? So these are things that we have to start looking at. Is we've learned to uplift the wrong thing. We've learned to put things that Yah himself has told us to not worship, to not give credence to be against. We have been taught and trained one another, even, and trained the next generation to go further and further away from Yah's word. How you doing, Minister Shante? Thanks for being on tonight. And how you doing, as Astro Warrior? Thanks for being part of the community. Right. So how do we get to a place, right? This is the part that we have to start asking ourselves. How do we get to a place that we come out of this? When we build our community, how do we start to say we're going to put certain guidelines, principles, law in place, accountability in place? How you doing, MIT Jelani? That causes us to have to put those things where they belong, which is literally to hate those deeds, right? This one thing that I have for you, Ephesus, even though you've lost your first love, is that at least you hate the deeds of the Nicolaitans. You might have lost your first love because of that Artemis spirit, that spirit that has you lusting and after certain things that cause you to forget who you are, which causes you to get into Balaam doctrine and that causes you to get to a place of letting that Jezebel spirit in, and causes you to get to this place where now you're thinking that your nakedness is something that we should value versus realizing you need to be covered, and therefore you've got into a perverted love with one another and these false spirits, and have not realized that now you have become lukewarm. When we get together, we have to start saying that these are not the people lift up. Does Mike Tyson have great? I've even told y'all some things Mike Tyson is saying. I'd be like, ooh, did you hear that? That's actually pretty solid to think about. Yeah, but we're not going to act like everything Mike Tyson does is righteous. We're not going to act like we look at Mike Tyson well because he's righteous. We look at Mike Tyson as a great person because he fights people. But why is that the thing we lift up? Now I get we need some warriors. Don't get it twisted. I know we need some people to defend their families and stuff. Don't get it twisted. But we don't look at Mike as a great person because he follows the will of Yah. We look at Mike as a great person because he beat people up. We didn't care if he was terrible towards women. We didn't care if he was doing things in the club he shouldn't have been doing. We didn't care if he was out there saying stuff literally like, I'm going to eat your children and I'm going to RAP, you know what, somebody. We didn't care. We looked the other way. And we looked the other way for so long that became the standard, right? So if we look the other way, that means we literally need to repent. We need to look at some of these things. We need to turn from having a blind eye to being able to identify and not allow people to tell us, oh yeah, you wrong. How come you judging? How come you this and that or whatever? We've got to start calling a spade a spade. As we hashtag finish strong this year, as we continue to look beyond what we see, as we continue to go into next year and start transitioning to expect the blessing. In order to expect the blessing, you have to be able to be turned towards the one that can give you the blessing. Yeah, bit off the ear of another fighter, all these different things. And I'm not saying hold everything against them. How you doing, Brother Frank? I'm not saying hold everything against that person. I'm just literally saying we have to at least have Yah's will in mind, so that our will lines up with his, including sometimes having to say that is not righteous. Yeah, we definitely have to pray for them because the riches of the world choke the word. Come on now. Amen. Yeah. And once again, we got to a place where we uplifted the non-righteous so long that the non-righteous has become the calling card of Israel more so than the Most High. Think about that, right? When we as Yahashara al, or let's just call it the way we say it today, when we as Black folk, when we as Moors, when we as natives, when we as Africans, some of y'all think you're African Americans, right? When you as whatever you want to call yourself, when we as a diaspora, right, look at who the best in our diaspora are. We don't look for the people who preach word. We don't look for scientists. We don't look for herbalists. I'm not saying none of us do. I'm saying if you go to the average person who's a part of a diaspora and you start asking them about who's heroic, we don't have people say my father is heroic, because we don't look at fathers as somebody important enough to see that in. How you doing, D? You said these people were never your hero, right? But there's a lot of people that might not be we're talking about even the totality, right? We're talking about in the majority even. And obviously majority doesn't rule in the kingdom, right? Majority, there's only one rule in the kingdom, but you get what I'm saying as far as people who are in the kingdom are not the majority, right? They're definitely a minority, right? Kingdom mindset is a minority mindset, unfortunately. And so that when you talk to the average Israelite, first of all, the average Israelite doesn't even believe they're an Israelite. Go figure. We already got a problem. You see what I'm saying? I'm with you too, Sister Monica. You see, we already got a problem. The average Israelite doesn't even think of themselves as an Israelite. Right? The average Israelite doesn't believe that it's their responsibility to do what Revelation chapter 3, verse 9 says, which is teach those who need to become Yahashara, not just only in flesh, but in spirit, or even those who are grafted in to become that in spirit. So if they do marry into it, the next generation that comes out of them that is flesh will keep the culture. How you doing, MIT Stephen? And Shabbat Shalom to everybody coming on. Appreciate you. How you doing, Sister Lakeisha? Lakiyah. Excuse me. Did I say that right? Or Lakeisha. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Please forgive me. But thank you for being on, Sister Williams. All right. Right. Thank you for being on Achiat, or as some of you would say, a Koti or a Kotai. Right. What is the standard? What is the standard? You said, yes, shameful, difficult to teach them about who they are. Mm-hmm. Love and light, darkness and chaos. All right. And how you doing, Amnesia? See, this is part of what we have to start making sure is not just introduced, but it is every single day. This is one of the reasons why we're on as often as we are, because every single day somebody needs this type of word. Right? Every single day somebody's going to need this type of word. Right? Every single day. Every single time that we have, somebody's going to need to get this type of word. And it's going to start with us. Every single day, we need to be able to get this type of word, because we've lived so many days where this is not our standard. We cannot understand what we're not under. Every single day, it was more important to be under somebody who told you to grind yourself into the ground, rather than you didn't realize the grind was to be in your work. Right? The grind. Everybody talks about the grind, but watch this. There's a grind that you didn't think about. Behold, the devil, Simon, Kofi, Nadine, Moshe, Samaya Larray, etc. Put your name there. Shante. Behold, pay attention. The devil desires to have you, that he might sift you as wheat. But the Son of the Most High, the Messiah, he said what? Specifically, he said, but I have prayed for thee. Remember, the word pray, by the way, is a request. Right? I have requested of my Father for thee, that your faith would not fail you. And when thou art converted, because a lot of people aren't even converted, when thou art converted, do what? Strengthen the brethren. Now and I believe that's Luke chapter 22, verses 31 and 32, I believe, right? Now, why is that important that we catch that? Yeah, not enough kingdom-minded people, unfortunately, right? And how you doing, Don 74? Thanks for being on, right? Not enough kingdom-minded folk. How you doing, Miss Q? Right? And he says, behold, pay attention to this. The devil, Satan, desires to have you to do what? To sift you as wheat, to grind you. And we're so busy about grinding for everybody else, not realizing when you grind for the devil, he grinds you into powder. We should be, right? If we're going to the threshing floor, our goal is to be able to make sure that we are oil, that we're anointing on people, to make sure that we are wine, that we show true value, and that we as wine are put into proper wineskins environment, so that as we mature, the environment is affected, right? So that when we move in the cup, so to speak, I'm not saying get drunk, right? But I'm just using that as an example. When you move within the cup, when you mature, you'll be able to be the kind of wine that Yehoshua used, to be able to get a whole drunk crowd, a whole drunk party, to be able to drink of it, and in the midst of their drunken stupor, realize they're having something they have never seen. We've uplifted the wrong thing. See, a lot of people, they come to the wedding, they come to the party, they come to this thing, they come to their church, they come to their edifice, they come to their belief system, they come to the diaspora, they come on these live sessions, and their belief system is, hey, let's just party, let's just have fun, let's make it to where we feel great, let's make it to where everybody's bowing down to us. So, hey, we don't have everybody listening to us, everybody going, how you doing, Sister Jessica? Right? But we have been sent, right, an edict. We have been sent a request, a demand from our Father, from Abba, through covered by Yehoshua, right, through Ravach HaKodash, to be able to recognize that we are supposed to be the ones who people can look at and see something in the midst of their drunken stupor. You are the water. Remember, in prophecy or in dreams, remember, water not only represents spirit, it also can represent people, right? And remember, in Revelation, the water actually represents the people who are of the devil. The water that they're talking about is spit out of the mouth of the serpent, the devil, right? And it says that you are clay. That actually, Revelation 12 stands up against the enemy because you have come together. There are a lot of people that don't believe that the flow of water can be stopped. There are a lot of people that think that, hey, this thing is what it is. You just might as well get in and fit in. There's a lot of people that say the times are over for you to be able to say that you don't need to worry about money. Money is not real. Somebody needs to see an example of somebody live this. Why not you? Where are we separated from the world that we might be the clay that can stand up when water tries to crash down, and when the people of the devil come against us, that people say, wait a minute, he is the potter, we are the clay. The potter puts us up to where we protect the Hashara that has come together, and we continue the things of them, so that even when the beast has to rise out of the water because it can't affect us, at least the remnant that's out there has a place to be able to go and be able to stand against the beast, the government, and therefore be able to stand against the Antichrist, even this second beast, or this Protestant spirit that has been designed to uplift this wicked government. Right? We've lifted up the wrong things long enough. Far too long have we decided that it's all right to lift up things that we know are not correct. I know it's difficult for some to hear. It's difficult when you've been living foolishly for a long time. How you doing naturally, MSQ? It's difficult when you've been living a non-righteous life. It can be. It's difficult when, see, this is where we get into the place of being double-minded. It's difficult when you say that I'm going to pray over the food, but you pray over things that are not even food. But you've gotten so used to being fed, right? Things sacrificed to idols, things that are not even of our culture, things that are not even righteous, that are not naturally correct, things that are being sacrificed to make these gods of the corporations rich, and those people who are trying to be in the beast. We've gotten so used even to doing that we pray over things that we know are going to off us. And then when we start feeling awful from the things designed to off us, then we sit back in awe and sit up there and say, I don't know why I'm not full, but I'm hungry and thirsting for righteousness still. It's because that we keep allowing ourselves to try and eat up this foolishness that's not even the word of Yah. Right? How you doing, Sister Nadine? How you doing, Shabbos? You see, we have to start getting to a place to where, wait a minute, how much stuff am I eating that's sacrificed to idols? How much Nicolaitan doctrine will I keep taking in? How many times will I allow somebody to tell me that what I clearly see is not what I see? I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it Isella or Isella? Please forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but thank you for being part of the community. Appreciate you. Right? How long? Right? There's a scripture that says like this: how long shall you assault a man? Might I introduce something to you? You guys know, right? Well, let me just ask this to see if we're on the same page. Do you guys remember what in Hebrew, when we say name, what does that word name actually mean for us? When we say somebody is named something, and really it's not just a Hebrew thing, it's not an Avda or a Yahashara thing. It's something everybody uses. But what does it mean if I say your name? When we're talking about a Hebrew culture, your authority, right? Your authority. So even if you don't necessarily know it, you haven't looked it up, just for the sake of today, if you can just agree with it for getting through this, right? For the sake of argument, let's just get to a place where when I'm talking about name, I'm talking about authority. I want to give you a scripture that maybe you've never considered, therefore, because Paul is speaking with your culture in mind, and you've been sitting here so long talking about it means that women got to shut up because you don't know the value of your culture. We've lifted up the wrong things. We got a red pill mindset before there was even a red pill, name, so to speak. Paul says, if it was up to me, or not even say if it was up to me, he said, he says, if it was my will, if it was up to me, he makes it a point to say, I would not have you usurp the authority of a man. Right? Do you not realize that he's saying, I would not have you usurp the name of a man? This is important because we're not just talking about, oh, men should talk and women should shut up. That's the only part we like to focus on. How you doing, Brother Jermaine? And we love to focus on that because we've been taught, hey, you know what? We've been wrong so much and everybody else respects their man, but their men rule over them. That's a curse that comes from Adam. We're supposed to be past that. You see what I'm saying? So when it says, I don't want you to usurp the authority, it's to usurp the name of a man. Now, why is that important that we get that as far as Hebrew culture? Because you're talking about what a man is authorized to do. The problem with not Israelites, but the problem with the assembly of Corinth that was starting to poison the mind of Israel was that these people who were Greeks, a lot of times their husbands would pass away in war. And so the women kept on getting more and more money. And so they would get to a place where the men had to go to the women to be able to ask for just about anything, especially concerning things that had to do with war, protection of the city. And so the women got to a place where not only they gossiped and stuff behind the scenes, but they also were literally making sure that men were not in proper authority. What does that mean? The man that has to protect you can't give direction. Now somebody says, I still don't like the way you're saying that you're a misogynist. No. Because in our culture, Proverbs chapter 1, verse 8 declares what? That a man, right? That a husband, that a father should give instruction. However, a wife, not just a woman, but a wife, a mother, should do what? She should lay down the law. If a husband is Yah's wife in the spirit, he is laying down the law of his husband by declaring to his wife in the physical, hey, this is the instruction that Yah has given us. She takes that and she lays down the law, right? When you grew up, mama would just only have to say to you, don't make me tell your daddy. Everybody froze. Why did they do that, right? If you grew up in a house with a father and mother, usually that would happen. Why would that happen? Because mama's saying, I've laid down the law, but if you don't listen to the law that's been laid down, I only got it off of the direction of your father. So your father is going to protect his directive by protecting the person who's laying down law to protect his direction. Remember, the word law law doesn't give rights. Law does what? It protects rights. So when the mother lays down the law, she's protecting your rights and her rights and his rights based off of direction that he got from the father. And therefore, if you're going to come against it, then that means daddy's going to come home and he got to tear you a little behind up because he has to chasten those that he loves. He has to rebuke you if you come against it because you're going to mess up the house. As for me and my house, we will serve Yehovah no matter what. See, so when it says, because of the authority, come on. So when he says, do not usurp, I wouldn't have you usurp the authority. He's talking about what I've named him to be. This is Adam, right? I have named this person do this. Now, I've named him. I have given him a name that nobody will comprehend except him and I. He might even have something that's in between him and I. But see, this is not just talking about a regular man. This is talking about Yah's man. You said we think we have to understand the context. Yeah, we have to. Right. Remember, we do the weird thing there too. Well, women aren't supposed to do this and men aren't supposed to have long hair. Paul says right after that, he says, that's not even our custom. It's not our culture. He says, I'm using things that are of your culture to tell you how this word works. But let me go back to our culture. Immediately, as soon as he says that in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, then he goes starting at verse 23. He starts talking about Passover. He says, there's one thing I did give you of our culture. Keep this, keep Passover. And then he starts describing it, right? Like we're having this discussion because we're uplifting the wrong thing. We're uplifting the wrong culture. In their culture, you disrespect your woman, and your woman is supposed to just go ahead and do whatever. In their culture, the woman disrespects her man, right? In their culture, one has to be in front of the other, right? Versus in our culture, we side by side. Matter of fact, we're side by side because we're trying to get our sister, or well, our wives, right, to come back in connection with us where they came out of our side. Whether you believe that was wrapped in the rib, but that the Most High went in and literally did some surgery and took some things that was out to be able to make sure that he could multiply it and make sure he fashioned it in such a way to where now you would be able to see that you need her, right? He gave us a work. He gives Adam a work. Thank you for the love. He gives Adam a work. He gives man a work. Adam, Adam, it means man, right? He gives Adam a work. That's why you were called mankind. You are of the kind of your father. Your father is Adam. That's why you have to be careful because you're shaping in iniquity. Don't get it twisted. Humble yourself and always remember that if you're not careful, you'll try to rule over your blessing. Yes, well, she messed up, so she deserves to be ruled over. No, did you not get it? The curse was that she will look for protection and affection, and you will rule over her. But she deserves it because did you not get the memo? It's a curse to rule over your wife. Well, the Bible says rule over your house well. Yeah, rule over your family well, right? But don't rule to a place where you're with an iron fist and your wife doesn't feel love. Because how can you desire the office of a pastor, or what you guys put in there when they changed it to the word bishop or kohelet or rabbi, etc.? How can you desire this office and you don't take care of your family? You are less than a non-believer. Why? Because a believer believes that he should be like the Most High. Well, what does the Most High does? He provides for his family. And even if it's not finances, he provides love. He provides support. He provides time. When they slumber and sleep, he's making sure he's looking over them. He cares for them. Remember, the Hebrew and Greek context of the word care literally is talking about before I even think about something, the Most High has already not only thought about providing my need and my wants, he's also watch this. He's thought about it before I need it, and might even start giving it to me before I even realize what it is that I need. How you doing, country girl? Right? He might even start giving me certain things because I need them before I even know I need them. See, you live in a culture that says, well, shoot, if you ain't open your mouth, if you ain't tell me blah, blah. Right now, look, obviously communication is key. But what I'm trying to tell you is that we've gotten to a place where we forget this is not a woman. We're talking about a wife. A wife is somebody who already communicates and stuff, but also as a husband, I study my wife. Right? There are some things that I provide, or sometimes that I give, or sometimes that I'm giving finances, or sometimes I'm giving aid to, or sometimes I'm working on things around the house, or sometimes I'm already thinking about we need to go on vacation to do this, blah, blah. There's some things that I'm thinking about trip-wise. There's some things I'm thinking about even for the women and stuff like that, even though I'm not even involved in the women's, what you would call women's ministry or whatever, in the women's fellowship. But I'm doing certain things already. Why? Because before she might even see that she needs it, and making sure that she's helping the household, right? And not submitting to the man. It's not submission, but submitting to the mission. The submission, if she's going to take care of that part of the mission, then she needs to take care of that part of the mission, knowing she's secure and knowing she'll get affection the whole way through. And thank you for the love. Appreciate it. You see what I'm saying? We've lifted up the wrong thing. You've been talking about, well, if she don't do, if she don't do, if she don't do, but that's heavy as the head that wears the crown. Malach, king. Yeah. See, watch this. Everybody always goes the first place you think is money. Somebody did that today earlier. Was, yeah, she needs money. She gonna want money when I was talking about security, right? Do you know? Now I'm talking about a wife. I'm not saying we shouldn't provide money at all, right? But hear what I'm saying. Do you know that a wife is looking for somebody that lets her feel protected? That's the first thing a wife is looking for. Even if she's argumentative about it, it's usually she's argumentative about it because she hasn't felt protected. And so now when you tell her things, she's so used to having to be a strong, independent Black woman, all this stuff, that Willie Lynch mindset. She's so used to having to do that she doesn't trust you, because everybody she's been around has been more concerned about ruling over her than protecting her. They've been more concerned about ruling over her than ruling over the household. And they've been so concerned about ruling over her that they haven't ruled their household well. That's scripture. It's crazy how the Most High works. You were just talking about this, and how so-called people want to worship of man/woman, want worship, but they supposedly love the Most High. Yeah, yeah. You see, we've uplifted the wrong thing. It's become a problem. It's problematic now. So now you have conversations with men and women going back and forth and talking about all this stuff, and it's the man's fault, it's the woman's fault. When the reality is what does Yah's man look like? What does Yah's woman look like? We have uplifted the wrong thing. We've uplifted the wrong people. You wanted Will and Jay to love. Now you realize that's foolishness. It was foolishness when they were telling you about that. Will Smith out there talking about, it's not my responsibility to make you happy. You the husband. Now, can I be honest? Look, Jada, she tripping on some stuff for sure. Will been tripping on some stuff for a long time too. What you talking about, Will? It's not your responsibility to make sure that she feels secure and get affection. And we took that to the bank, though. Men couldn't wait, and some sisters who didn't want to make sure that they made people happy too. Everybody was ready to take that to the bank and cash that check. And now that you realize that that check was of no value, and you cashed it so many times, and now you in the penalty because you kept cashing that check. What are you talking about? It was happy wife, happy life, and you ate that. But you never thought about happy house, happy spouse. If your family gonna be righteous, the husband and the wife got to have this thing together. Right now, we use Yah to allow us to have true joy, sure, but come on, let's be honest with it. Why are you getting with somebody? We a lot of us come from grandparents and great grandparents where we saw this to where they were 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, praise Yah, but they didn't talk to each other. Do you want that? Do you want to uplift? We just gonna be together for 50 years, but no happiness. I mean, I'm just saying, we saw some of this stuff. We saw Pop that would be sitting in the chair and was cantankerous, and because nobody would listen to him, every once in a while, you'd ask him his opinion, and he'd say, "Okay, I'll tell you what my opinion is," and you'd be like, "Whoa, Pop, grandfather, right? Yeah, 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 right?" Because they even call him yeah in certain places, right? Because it's your culture, yeah, right, father. We would see this stuff and we would go, "Whoa, what's up?" But because it wasn't important to do what the word of Yah says. I appreciate them for at least. This is why you have songs like "Hey Ya." You guys, you know, "Hey Ya." You were busy dancing to it, but Andre 3000 was talking about some real stuff. He was confused, and he was sitting up there saying, "Well, I guess I might as well just do what I want to do in a relationship." You missed the lyrics, right? What are the lyrics? "My baby don't mess around because she loves me so, and this I know for sure," right? And we clapped, we loved it, right? But then he asked a question. He asked a real question. But does she really love me? Or can't stand or right, but can't stand to see, right? But does she really love me or can't stand to see me walk out the door? Right? Right? Don't try to fight the feeling because the thought alone is killing me right now. Right? Praise Yah for mom and dad for keeping two together because we don't know how. He was telling you. And then he was saying, "Hey, but everybody's dancing through the whole thing." That was the point of the song. Right? He said, "What was the next verse? You think you got it? Oh, you think you got it, but got it just don't get it till there's nothing at all. We get together. Ooh, we get together, but separate's always better when there's feelings involved. We don't know how to make this thing work. Don't try, right? If what they say is nothing is forever, then what makes? Then what makes? Then what makes? Then what makes? Love the exception. Wait a minute. That's crazy, right? Right? If what they say is nothing is forever, because nobody believes in eternity, nobody believes in righteousness, nobody thinks that we shouldn't have any excuse to not make this work, nobody believes we should be trained to make this a forever thing. So if right, so if what they say is not what is real, but if what they say is, if what they telling us is nothing is forever anyways, then why am I worried about love? Love isn't an exception to that. So why are we in such denial when we know we're not happy here, right? And if you ain't heard me, what do he say? If those who have ears to hear, if you ain't hear me, if you ain't heard me, you just don't get it. Uh-oh. That's the He's telling you straight up. We've uplifted the wrong thing so much that we don't even know how a relationship works. So we'll have the baby, we'll have the sex, and we'll go on with righteous intent, but we don't know how to do this. Mom and dad are raising us, and mom and dad are not even telling us what a husband and wife is. They're having lasting relationships, or at least are cordial, more cordial than we are, and we can't figure out how to make this work. Glad you made it home, Sister Mignon. How you doing, Ashley? You see what I'm saying? He was sitting there telling you, "Hey, man, this is some real stuff, right? If you ain't heard me, you just don't get it." And then showed you how much. He literally was showing you in the song. People still didn't get it. He was saying, "I'm gonna show y'all how crazy this is." He says, "I'm gonna get you to dance." To me, literally telling you, I don't know how to get this relationship. You'll dance around your problems. You'll dance around what's going on, but you'll uplift the song. You'll put money in my pocket. You're going to pay me to literally show you that you don't even know how to love each other. And you're not even going to realize it. I mean, think about the power of that song. For real, for real. I'm going to show you how wild y'all are, how much y'all wilding. I'm going to show you that we don't know how to have relationships. And rather than cry for me, you'll dance. I won't, right? I'm telling you what's going on, but really I'm not telling you what's going on. And rather than check on me, you'll dance with me. You'll dance for me, right? Now don't have me break this thing down. We're going to break this down in just a few seconds. He broke down what he was talking about. Don't have me break this thing down for nothing. But you did, right? I want to see y'all on your baddest behavior. Right? You're going through some terrible stuff, and you need to start being righteous. But I want to see y'all on y'all baddest behavior. Right? Hey, let me some sugar, just give me a kiss. Right? Or let me some sugar. Hey, might as well get together and do what we do. I am your neighbor. Right? And then shake it like a Polaroid picture. Everybody was so excited, and nobody was thinking about how in depth he was. Because it doesn't matter. We've uplifted the wrong thing. All right, now, fellas. Right? What's cooler than being cool? I know I went out of order, but y'all know what I'm saying. Right? What's cooler than being cool? Ice cold. Right? Be cool enough that you don't really express how you feel. What's cooler than being cool? Who are the ones they're attracted to? The sisters that want the emotional response for us are the ones who want emotionally illiterate brethren. The baddest behavior, come on, because bad, B-A-D in Hebrew actually means to be what? To be alone. To be the loneliest behavior. Come on now. We getting this thing, right? What's cooler than being cool? Ice cold. Who were the ones that they were attracted to in school? The ones that didn't show any emotion. Who are the ones that they were attracted in school? The ones that wanted to make sure that they got home safely, or the ones that went ahead and acted like they didn't exist? What's cooler than being cool? Ice cold. We've lifted up the wrong thing. Rick Ross was called out by one of the Christian rappers that's out now who's starting to get big. He's starting to kind of be the Southern version of Lecrae, and people giving him credit. I don't remember his name right now, and he seems to be very genuine. I'm not going to hold you. We'll see sometimes these people start changing up. I'd be praying for Tobey all the time because he's, certain things starting to happen. He's starting to curse and do certain things that he wasn't doing before, at least not on the level he's doing it now. But I'm praying for him and stuff like that. You saw Lecrae kind of shift a little bit. Grits, I don't really know enough about to know if they ever shifted or not, right? But we kind of see people start to get on the fence, right? And Rick Ross is out here beefing with this guy who's forgive me once again, I don't know his name, but Rick Ross out here beefing with him, and he made a point because the guy called him out. He said, "Look, man, your music is something that hurts people. That." That talks about drug dealing. It's something that's not a great example. So Rick Ross's first response is to do what? To lift up the wrong thing. Is that the name? D1? Okay, might be. That sounds, for some reason, that sounds right in my spirit. I think that's it, right? Not sure. Look up D1, D-E-E, the number one. That might be who it is. Look up D1 rapper or something like that. See if he pops up. Matter of fact, I'll look him up myself. Let me look him up. See if that's the one who pops up. That feels right. Right? I'm not necessarily blown away. Oh, yeah, that's it. D1. It literally, the first thing when you type it in is D1 Rick Ross. So they talk about them two going back and forth. Right. But yeah, so D1, and he's not my cup of tea as far as lyrically, but I like the fact that he's trying to do things that are righteous. How you doing, Minister Tamara? So, just because it's not my cup of tea or whatever, I still like, the fact that he's really pressing the kingdom, and he's left some other things alone. And, who knows, they're letting them get there. So you got to be careful, who's letting you in there. He's doing stuff with Big Crit and this person and that person, whatever. And Lupe, by the way, is somebody that's nice. And actually, even though he is not all the way there, he's somebody that at least stands on principle. So, give him credit, for certain things and certain choices he seems to be making. But he came out and he basically was telling Rick Ross, that this is something, and I don't even think it was just addressed to Rick Ross, but he was speaking on different things. I could be wrong. I haven't been paying attention to the beef, to be honest. He just kind of came across my stuff the last couple of weeks. I've been finding out a little more about who he is every day. But when he was talking to Rick Ross from, Rick Ross's response to him was basically, "How dare you talk bad about me or whatever, join me or whatever." I'm first of all, Rick Ross goes at him, uplifting the wrong thing. Who knows who you are? You're not as popular as me. You don't make as much money as me. This, that, whatever, and this and all the stuff. What have you actually done for the community? And look, I'm giving out 20. What did he say? 20,000 turkeys to 20 or food to 20,000 people to 20. I don't think it could be possible. I don't think he's actually giving out 20,000 food, whatever it was. I'm giving out, thousands of Thanksgiving meals. But by the way, Thanksgiving is not even righteous, and it's a lie, right? But nevertheless, right, that's Rick Ross's response, uplifting the wrong thing. And I like what D1 had to say. He came back out and he said, "Look, man," and he gave him some bona fides. I do that sometimes. Sometimes, you got to be led to be like, hey, okay, test every spirit, try every spirit to see if it's of Elohim, or call every man a liar. All right, cool. I'll tell you, we do this. I'll show you this. You can call this person. You can look up my stuff, whatever. So he showed him his bona fides. He showed him that he's actually got albums out, and he's, doing stuff with a lot of big names and things of that nature, and that's fine. But what I really like what he said was that the first thing you did, Rick Ross, was you started trying to tell me about turkeys. Right. And he said, your lyrics are hurt more. Let's say it's 20,000 people. I don't know. So Rick Ross ain't going to feed 20,000 people. He said, your lyrics negatively affect more than 20,000 people. He said, you get more than 20,000 streams. He said, you've negatively affected the lives of people more so than you fed them one meal. And you've made a bunch of money off it. And I was like, like that's solid. Or what about everyday meals too, right? But he's one time during the year when Rick Ross has enough money, and you see the land that he got enough money, he can make a plantation where he feeds his people. But he literally hit him with that. And I said, that's solid apologetics right there. How many people are losing their lives due to what you're putting up? See, Rick Ross is a classic example of we lift up the wrong thing. Right. We're now starting to catch up with a lot of stuff that JC is saying is straight up lies. I'm not talking about even his political positioning. I'm talking about a lot. I'm not even talking about devil worship, which we know there's some of that. Right. I'm talking about literally. We found out that Jay-Z lies. Look at what happened with the Colin Kaepernick situation. For those of you who know about that, where is he at? Right. We see he lied. Look at what he said as far as all this stuff, but come to find out he was messing with Aaliyah himself. And so was Dame Dash, more than likely. Like that's what it looks like too, right? But look at what he was doing, right? Look at how he was cheating. How you doing, babe? My wife is on the Honorable Mind. Please check her out as always on TikTok, YouTube, or website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. Not A&D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, biologist by degree, right? Look at Jay-Z and all the lies he's been caught up in, right? And people worship the ground that he walked on because he worth $1 billion, right? I don't know the lyrics, so please forgive me. I'm about to mess the lyrics up. But you like the fact that he said, I bought a painting, and 1 year later, I bought it for $1 million. 1 year later, it's worth $2 million or $4 million. Next year is worth, okay. But Jay, how did you get there? How many people that hung around you are done? You see what I'm saying? How many people have not gotten paid? How many people were you supposed to support? I mean, that's nice and everything. Rich, poor, right? Still, that's nice. You went ahead and came out with that, but I mean, how many people have been negatively affected by you? I mean, you tried to end career. Some of them you couldn't, but let's not act like death of the auto tune wasn't a response to somebody specific. You didn't care about that. Remember how you tried to off Nas's career? You didn't care about that. Remember how you were going out with Beyonce and you were lying to all these brothers about trying to be married and booed up to the right one, and you were telling them you got 99 problems and ain't one. Turn around though, who you with? Right? Sisters, his wife did the same thing. While she was busy telling y'all to the left, everything you own in the box to the left. Right? We've uplifted the wrong thing. We don't even care about people's character. We don't even care if they live what they say. What's the Johnny Depp ex-girl's name? Whatever, ex-wife's name. Forgive me. Let me give her respect as far as what her title's supposed to be. Right? She came out and gave a speech that, by the way, if you listen to the speech was kind of trash. I'm just keeping it a buck with you, right? Just as far as how you speak, it wasn't great at all. But she came out there and she was the abused one and this and that or whatever. This woman had cut off a piece of Johnny Depp's finger. Like, right? But we uplifted the wrong thing. We didn't say, hey, okay, like, and we should do this for men and women. We didn't say, where's the evidence? We just got with a movement. And the movement is one that doesn't even support you. The Me Too movement, the feminist movement doesn't even support our sisters. But we were quick to be able, Johnny Depp is trash. And I was careful not to put my mouth on him until I had some evidence. And sure enough, now he's not perfect. He alcoholic and probably lying a little bit too. We kind of got a little too sweet on Johnny, right? But through that whole thing, it was an interesting case study, right? Dwayne Wade, we starting to find out that whole Dwayne Wade and what's Gabrielle Union. Dwayne Wade, Gabrielle Union, we finding out some things about their relationship that ain't so great, are we? Aren't we? Look at the fruit and look at how the fruit's being affected and spoiled and messed up. Are we starting to find out real quick that this stuff is not what we think it is? It's not as righteous as we think it is. Right? I'm just saying. Remember, Dwayne Wade ex-wife was with him from high school. And y'all trying to say she just wanted the money, this and that, or whatever. Dwayne Wade's wife was trying to make sure that she raised her children, right? Dwayne Wade gets with Gabrielle Union while he's with his wife. And don't forget, even his team, the Miami Heat, and his boy LeBron James too, and his boy Carmelo Anthony as well, and his boy CP3 as well, right? Everybody came together to make sure that she looked crazy to y'all. We were busy calling her crazy, idiotic, stupid, this and that, whatever. I'm so glad that she got with somebody better. She leveled up. I'm sorry, he leveled up. Dwayne Wade leveled up. He got his children away from that witch. I mean, you heard a lot of craziness about that. She was telling y'all he's not raising them children right. She was telling y'all that he made it a point to make it to a point where she feels like she's losing her mind. She's lost her family overnight. She was telling y'all Gabrielle Union is doing this and that or whatever. And now everybody applauds as Gabrielle Union is sitting there telling you that if you don't agree with what her lifestyle has become for Dwayne Wade's child, then something's wrong with you. And people applauded. People were looking in awe, even though there are a lot of people in the audience like, I give credit where credit's due. Not everybody was there. was feeding into it. Matter of fact, remember even some of the stuff that's BET. You can't be upset with the BET stuff that's been happening recently. Can you believe what Sexy Red did? Yeah, I can. Why? Because we uplifted Lil' Kim. We messed up Lil' Kim, and so did Big Papa. I know we want to just act like he was great because he's your martyr all of a sudden. I don't know why he's become a martyr. Well, we know why, because that's what the government wants us to believe. That's what this attack against Israel wants us to go, is that's our example. But remember that, Christopher Wallace is the reason why Lil' Kim had that thing and why she rapped the way she rapped, is he told her she had to change the lyrics up and even wrote some of those raps out for her. And then she watched as her husband passed away, and the woman that was married to him for 2 weeks, right? Basically, he was so in love with her after a couple of days that they got married, and then they got a divorce basically right away. Possibly she was cheating, and maybe even cheating with Tupac. That might have been something Tupac just came out, with, or whatever, to stir some stuff up. But we supported that. We supported that, and she watched everybody. Where she was the one that was supporting Christopher Wallace. She was the one that he was crying on her, crying too. She was the one that was wanting to let him keep having all these side chicks, but still try and show him love, which is, ridiculous. Shouldn't have been happening. I'm saying she was that, and she had to watch all that stuff. And now here she is, where all we liked about her, the only reason we had the crush on her is because she was basically Sexy Red before Sexy Red. So she changed her body to keep up with the times. Michael Jackson did the same thing. Janet Jackson did the same thing. LaToya Jackson did the same thing. And we tell them, oh, they look bad, or they look different, or how they did, they do this, blah, blah, whatever. We lifted that up. How many interviews did Michael Jackson have and nobody said, hey, bro, why you keep covering your nose? Isn't that dangerous? You're not going to be able to breathe right soon. You're going to have problems sleeping. And sure enough, he has problems sleeping, which is why he was asking the guy to come over and drug him. That's why he asked for the chemicals that he was putting in his body. He couldn't sleep. They tried to tell you he was high. He couldn't sleep. So he needed, so to speak, he was addicted to sleep. He could never sleep. And we kept saying, hey, I want to see the little boy. He never stopped being a little boy. Then we said, why is he hanging up with little boys? You see what I'm saying? Like we put this persona out there. We supported a certain persona. He got to a place to where he couldn't even escape, the real version of himself in his dreams. He was having this battle, so he can't sleep and he can't breathe on top of it. He got to take a drug to be able to sleep. And if you believe, whether the guy was paid to off him or, they even say Michael Jackson woke up out of his sleep. They said he woke up out of a coma. Did y'all know that? He wasn't just in sleep. They say he was in a coma, woke himself up out the coma, pulled the stuff out of himself, and then called for the doctor that he had to be able to come and give him more. And then he overdosed. And then while telling you that's what they did, they ruined the doctor's life and locked him up. I'm just saying, I'm sorry, it's not funny. I'm just saying the stuff we fell for, we uplifted the stuff so much, the wrong stuff. We even uplift the people who are supposed to be your police officers and your doctors and your ambulatory services and all this stuff to the point to where we don't even believe truth when we see it. It's sad. We've uplifted the wrong things. We must now make it a point. Amat, truth. Don't give me the foolishness. Amat, truth. Don't tell me this, that, whatever. Give me truth, straight up. Every single time, I need straight, no chaser. Give me truth. I'd rather you hurt my feelings a little bit than not give me truth. I'd rather make sure that you tell me that I'm wrong because I'm trying to carve myself up. I'd rather you tell me, hey, don't let them do no hysterectomy. I know they're telling you that it's going to help you with those cysts, but do you know the cysts will come back even after they remove your stuff? Did they tell you that you're not going to be able to, feel like a woman anymore? Did they tell you that you won't be able to orgasm? Did they tell you that you're actually going to have to be on hormonal treatment because you're actually going to get a disease? It's not a side effect. If you remove a big, huge part of who they are, they're going to deal with disease. Did they tell you, right, that some women have, I forget what the technical term is, it's a medical term or scientific term is, but they literally have this thing where they call it like a fallout, right? Where literally your hormones aren't in place to stay in position and you don't have certain things in you anymore. So you'll have parts of your body start falling out. They didn't tell you any of that, right? I'm just saying at some point we need to start, even if it hurts somebody's feelings, I'd rather tell you the truth. What about hip surgery? Depends on what they're doing. I don't know. Sometimes surgery is necessary, but a lot of times we can just eat right, make sure that we rest a certain way, make sure that we help one another. Yeah, just tell the truth. It was a prolapse, but it's something. So you're right, it is prolapse, but it's something where they call it like the wall at the bottom or something falls out. They literally have a term where, like, if you think about it, you can see it. I don't even know if I'm necessarily want to even. Maybe it's not brought back to my remembrance for that specific reason. Maybe it might be too much for people to hear, and I apologize because I know some of you've had some of this stuff done to you, and so I'm sorry. But you guys can, there's a truth. There's a truth to that. I'm just saying there's a truth, and they don't tell you. And then all of a sudden you start going through these things and this and that or whatever, and there's certain things that becomes more difficult. They didn't tell you. They didn't tell you were going to need this, this, and this for the rest of your life. They didn't tell you that you could just eat in there. Matter of fact, they didn't tell you some of the pain that you're having might be because you're dehydrated. Maybe drink some water. Maybe eat some fruit so that you get H3O2 so that you're properly hydrated. Right? Maybe fast so that the fibroid cyst can't feed off your body. And guess what? They didn't prepare you. Hey, when you get ready to fast, this is not going to be a regular fast like for everybody else. It's going to hurt you more than anybody else because you have things embedded in your body. You have things embedded in your body that literally are saying, yeah, we need to eat. You got a parasite of sorts telling your body, eat this, eat that, help me to grow, eat the sugar, eat the bread, eat this, eat that. And here you are, you're feeding yourself things, you're uplifting the wrong things. What's more important, your body or what the doctor says about your body? See, watch this. Your body should be something you know so well. That's why, like, you should know, right? You need to know the law greater than the scribes and the Pharisees. You need to know your body, the natural law of your body, better than doctors do. When you go to the doctor should be in agreement with what is natural or the nature of who you are. Matter of fact, when you know the nature of who you are, that's when you stop going to the doctor. How you doing, Bad Alex? Praise y'all, Sister Nadine. Yeah, stay away from that surgery as much as possible. Could there possibly be a reason for it? I guess. I mean, there could be, there's an exception to every rule, I guess. How you doing, Pinky? But why would you want to do that? Once you realize what that's there for, see, they even lie to you and say the only reason why you have fallopian tubes and the ovary and a womb and all the only reason you have it is for to have baby. So hey, if you're getting ready to go through menopause anyways, or if you've had children anyways, why not go ahead and get rid of it? Meanwhile, they don't tell you that this regulates your womanhood. It's not just for you when you have babies, right? Is your womb still necessary? Sisters, those of you that can still have babies, right? Is your womb necessary every day? When did your womb stop being necessary? Because you're not carrying a baby? Is your womb not necessary? See, once again, this is somebody else's culture. We uplift the wrong thing. Yes, be fruitful, multiply, right? Take a seed and be able to turn it into a whole child. But don't be so manipulated to believe that the only purpose of your womb is for you. They use this term for you to be a baby making machine. You're not a machine. You are a human being, right? And your womb regulates your hormones. If you have no womb, you're going to be in trouble. How's your progesterone and your testosterone and your estrogen going to flow correctly and you have no womb? Right? But they didn't say anything to you about that. They just said, well, you don't need it because you're not having babies anymore. That's not the only reason you were given the womb. Right? They cut out your I'm having a moment here. I'm sorry. Regulates the hormones throughout your whole body. People with blood issues, they always try to cut a piece of this or what is that? Your not a sexual organ, it's but it regulates hormones. Your and so many of our people get this done to them. One brother, I was telling him not to do it. Yeah, my wife is over here. She'll tell you after you get a hysterectomy, you automatically go into menopause. Thank you, thyroid. Thank you, babe. Your thyroid, right? Your thyroid. They cut that all the time. As soon as your thyroid is cut, your hormones are going to be messed up for the rest of your life. There's not one, watch this. If you are fearfully, wonderfully made, there's not one thing the Most High has given your body that it doesn't need. Right? Your body needs your gallbladder. Right? This is coming from somebody else's mindset. Remember, they used to tell you that there's some people that still tell you you only use 10% of your brain. Now they try to turn it into you only use 10% of the capacity of your brain, but that's not true. Cut off 10% of somebody's brain right now. Tell me how they're going to act. We know how they did because I don't want to go too deep into this, but you know they did that to us when we were chattel slaves. Right? Cut out 10% of somebody's brain. Hit somebody in the head with something that messes up 10% of their brain. You tell me what happens next. Have somebody go through a stroke. You tell me if they don't need their brain to be working at full capacity. But they'll tell you only use 10% of your brain. This is nonsense. You're not in your right mind. You're in their mind, but you're not in your right mind. That's what your mama used to tell you. That's what your grandmama used to say. That's what your daddy used to say. Your grandpapa used to say, right? They used to tell you, boy, girl, you ain't in your right mind. Because if this was kingdom sense you were living by, not common sense, that wouldn't even make sense. You said they just told you to have your daughter take her tonsils out. No, it's probably if they swollen. First of all, if it's inflamed, inflammation is where you're getting the pain from. If it's swelling, you have to first of all figure out why it's swelling. But they're so used to just cutting stuff out. They don't even think about it. Remember, like there's certain places in the world now, that doctors are starting to not even know how to let a sister. First of all, you don't go through natural birth correct anyways, right? You're supposed to be right side up. You're supposed to be, straight up, right? Legs supposed to be up from both sides, right? You're supposed to be straight up. You're supposed to have a birthing stool, right? Because what's even when you get ready to give birth, ladies, right? What's the first sensation when your water breaks? What's the first thing that you want to do? What's the first position you take? What's the first thing you want to do? Right? You don't want to lay on your back. Matter of fact, while you've been pregnant, those of you who are pregnant right now, you could tell me right now, straight up, do you want to sleep on your back? Of course not. Right? The first sensation you have is to squat, right? and to start pushing. And you guess what muscles you use? The same muscles that you were supposed to strengthen. I don't have enough space to do it, but the same muscle you're supposed to strengthen when you use the restroom like this, that's the same position that you're supposed to give birth in. It wasn't until you had a French king that was on some perverted stuff that wanted to look at childbirth that it became a thing where you started laying people on their back. And now you have pain trying to push. Why would you push something out without letting the forces that God has put in place allow it to come out? So now you have extra pain, and it's taking extra long, and the dilation is not even happening correctly. So now what do you start doing? Give me drugs. Drug me up, and then not realizing they're gonna step. First of all, Yah has not created you to be stabbed. I know we gotten so used to being treated like chattel that we just let people stab us, but Yah has not created you to be stabbed, right? So you don't heal somebody by jamming something into them. That's not our culture. That's not natural law, but that's what people do. But you don't heal somebody, right, by stabbing them, right? Can there be exceptions to the rule? Sure. But for the most part, you're not trying to cut somebody to heal them. That's not how it's supposed to work. But if they stab you in your spine, do you think there's going to be side effects? If they drug you in your spine and your baby eats off of you, do you think the baby might get drugged too? Isn't that wild that we don't even realize that before our baby eats off of the milk of your bosom for the first time, that baby has ate drugs? And then when the baby's drugged up and does drugged up things, and their body does drugged up things, they say, put them in NICU. Put it in newborn ICU. But you just drugged the baby. Of course the baby's going to have some stuff that's wrong. Of course the baby body's not going to respond. Before the baby could eat, some babies can't even, they're like, oh, I can't understand why the baby's having a problem finding the nipple. The baby drugged. The baby's drugged. I don't even think we think about this. We just go, oh yeah, drug her, it's fine. No. She's not supposed to be on her back. Why would you put extra pressure on your spine? You got a whole baby in there. Then they drug you when you're so thankful to not have the pain. By the way, and sisters, look, I have never carried a baby. So obviously take this with a grain of salt. If I'm 100% off or if I'm off in any way, shape, or form, please dismiss it. I know I'm not a woman. All right. I'm not going to pretend to be one. I'm not going to pretend to know what the pain is. I've been present at births before, but obviously I don't really know the pain that a woman goes through. I'm not going to pretend to. Okay. So please forgive me if I'm saying something that's off or that you feel like I'm telling you what to do with your body. I'm not doing that. I'm just having honest dialogue with you. Right. That there's some things because, and by the way, when you go to your OBGYN or when you go, right, and they get ready to give birth anyway. A lot of them are men anyway. So I don't know why you wouldn't listen to a man now, especially a man that's actually trying to uplift you and edify you and be able to say this is what we should do to protect you. But to each their own. Right. That's statistically correct, by the way, too. There's more men that are OBGYN than women. Do with that what you will. I don't even know what that means, but do with that what you will. Right. But yeah, that's exactly Sister Mignon. Right. So in the meantime, though, you have all this stuff that's happening. Your baby drug, this and that or whatever. Your baby's introduced to light. The baby's been inside a dark place, and here it is. You had a bright room. All this different stuff. The baby doesn't get born from water to water, so that it might be an easy experience, right? They get born from water to dryness, right? You slap the baby who's drugged. The baby is going through trauma. Right, the baby's been in a very warm, incubated place. Now you take him and you put him in the cold. And they don't wrap the baby up as soon as they finish. Look at that, right? What do? They take him and they put him under a light and they start poking and prodding and trying to get blood and giving them this shot and that shot or whatever and give them potassium and they must have, this because they have jaundice and all that. And just about nowadays, because of the way people eat, every baby gonna have jaundice. Right? Put them in the sun. Now you can't put a baby in the sun that much, but put them in the sun a tiny bit here or there. Jaundice will clear up. right? But things have gotten so bad, in certain places, they're starting to, in certain places in the world today, no lie, they're starting to actually not know how to have women give vaginal birth anymore. How you doing, P. Cooper? Right? There are places to where C-sections are so in demand because they believe in cutting stuff out. That's the culture. That's the reason why shots come into place anyways. It's part of a religious activity. It's part of the thought process. They used to believe that elves were tiny, tiny little creatures that were in your body. That's why when they talk about elves, you got to know that that's Black Pete and not an elf. They keep trying to say, oh no, elves, this and that. In the beginning, in their culture, they thought that elves were little tiny spirits that were running through your veins. So if you were itching, right, they would be like, oh, you got elves. They believe that whenever something is hurting you, they believe that it's attacking you. And therefore, whatever attacks you, you're supposed to attack it. You're at war because they come from a war culture. This is why eventually they started stabbing you. This is why eventually they just started cutting stuff out. Matter of fact, if you want to know one of the worst things ever created, we talked about this a long time ago. If you ever want to know one of the worst things ever created, look up a chainsaw. Somebody says a chainsaw. Well, I mean, it's dangerous and everything, but you just used to cut down trees or cut through things. Look up do you know why a chainsaw was originally created? Y'all know that, right? You guys know why the chainsaw was originally created, right? It floated around social media not too long ago, so I'm pretty sure some of you know, right? Yeah. Chainsaw was created for the C-section. And really not even for the C-section, because remember, they didn't do C-sections until they actually came across Ugandans and a Ugandan, branch that is really not Ugandan, but you know what I'm saying? They say it's in the country of Uganda now. But there were these group of people that actually did C-sections if necessary. They knew how to do it if necessary, but they still believed in vaginal birth. But what they would do is if you couldn't push, especially when they got you on your back instead of on the birthing stool. But let's say natural complications arise, right? And they need to get the baby out, and for some reason they can't get the baby out. They would use, and it wasn't an electric chainsaw. Remember, we're talking about hundreds of years ago, right? It wasn't an electric chainsaw. It was a hand cranked chainsaw. And the person would use it to cut into your pelvis and even cut through your pelvic bone, right? To crack it open to be able to now have more leeway to be able to get the baby out. This is the same culture that you think is supposed to teach you about giving birth. We've lifted up the wrong things long enough. You see what I'm saying? At some point, and all this stuff, before somebody gets upset and frustrated and this and that or whatever, you can go and look at whatever schooling you want. You can go and look at the best schools or whatever. You can go look at see if the historical fact of his story lines up with the story, or what I'm saying is our story, right? I mean, you can look it up. Matter of fact, the same schools, right, that have them doing that, kind of having that mindset towards women, especially our women, are the same schools that still teach that because of the color of your skin, you might feel less pain. They still teach it. There's a bunch of nurses and even doctors who have come out and said, yeah, in the schools that I use, in the books that we use to go to school, they teach that if you are a person of color, you experience less pain. So when they started using this type of stuff on you, the father of modern medicine, he was using that on you as chattel slaves. But you weren't considered to be a person. You weren't considered to be a human. You weren't considered to be a people. You were considered to be chattel. You were considered to be property. So they could do whatever they wanted. They chain you down. They tie you down. They'd have men hold you down. They'd snatch babies out of your womb. I'm sorry to say it that way, but that's the way it is. At some point, we got to realize this system is not for us. We've uplifted the wrong thing long enough. At some point, can we see it now? I don't want to get. I'm already might be past the line of being disgusting for some, but I'm just trying to say, can you see it now? At some point, this ain't for you. Their standard is not to make sure that you're protected and given affection. And brothers, when you want to be like these people, you must realize your standard must be the same. You can't make it to high levels in their society and not not be unprotective, or not even have a mind to protect your woman. You have to not protect your wife to be able to make it to that level. Right? You have to make sure that you're looking to make sure that you don't find a wife, but you find somebody who's a trophy to make it to that level. right? At this point, we can't deny this anymore. You said you're very correct. They don't believe that people of color can feel pain as others do. Yeah, right? You have to realize that you are somebody who's practiced on. Your doctor is a practitioner. He practices medicine. Your doctor doesn't cure anything. You're not allowed to cure. They'll say, "Oh, so and so came up with a cure." That's not how you do things in the West. I'll end on this. It's something I just learned tonight. Never knew it. Do you not know? I forget what you call it. I guess it's not. This is not what you call it, but what you call it, a silent clause or something. It's a something clause. Some of you will know what I'm saying when I say it. Somebody might be able to give me the proper terminology. We'll end on this just to show you that we got to realize we've been uplifting the wrong thing too much. Do you know that if somebody were to go to the pharmacy, right? Let's say your mama, your grandmama, whoever needs, I don't know, something for pain. Whatever pain it is, you make it whatever you need it to be. Your mama, your grandmama, your mother, your grandmother, she decides to go, or she says, I'm gonna go in and pick up my prescription, my scripts, my prescript. And by the way, if you know what prescription is, that actually is when you would take somebody who was you would make these forge these relationships in Rome, right? And in Greece. And then people would make forged relationships and they say, okay, cool, we're all gonna come together, but I need you to kick this person out, or I need you to off this person, I need you to do that. And they would make an agreement on who they were gonna get rid of to come together as a triumphant, right? A lot of times it wasn't only a triumphant, but there's a few famous triumphants that came together. And when they did that, they called that prescription. Somebody, in order for your prescription to be filled, somebody got to be offed. Right. I see you, Sister Jessica. Yeah. So that's what a prescription. That's the mindset of the prescript. The prescription is that in order for you to get better, something's got to be offed. Something's got to be sacrificed. That's the way that works. They're using the same word. We don't know what these words come from, right? Nevertheless, though, right? When mama goes to fill her prescription, so to speak, let's say the pharmacist has bought a medicine. Let's say the medicine only costs $2. Catch this now. I want you to catch how this works. Let's say the medicine only costs $2. You're going to see how prescription mind works. We've lifted up the wrong things far too long. So mama goes to fill her prescription. It only costs $2 for the person who bought it, right? He's probably going to charge her $4 because he needs to be able to make some money back. $4 ain't a big deal. So even though you could say he's doubling the price, hey, $4 for prescription ain't nothing, right? Praise Yah. I could afford $4, no problem. So he wants to make money back. He gonna double up. She gonna only pay $2 for medicine. Everything seems to be fine, right? Can we agree that would be wonderful if you had a prescription, it was only $2. It cost him $2, so he already lost $2. So really, technically, by charging you $4, he's only making $2, right? So he bought it for $2, right? You could even say, in a sense, he might charge you $4 for it. So in a sense, right, if he charged him $2, that meant it was -$2, right? You see what I'm saying? So he was $2 in the hole to make sure that he gave you your medicine. So least you could do is sow into him, because the $2 you're going to pay to him is going to be worth more than $2, right? For your healing. Okay. All right. We're on the same page? We're on the same page? Somebody said they're freezing. I'm sorry. I'm freezing on TikTok. I want to make sure we make this clear at the end. Can you hear us? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Am I freezing? Yes, no, maybe so. Let me know. Let me know. This is the end. This is the last one. I promise you. I just want to make sure we hear this on the end. I'm not seeing anything. Maybe we are frozen. It says I'm green here. All right. Okay. Okay. So watch this. So he's paid $2. He only going to charge you $4, which means that he's really only making $2, right? He paid $2. He's only making $2. You only need to pay $4. That would be amazing. Here's the problem, though. Do you know that there's a clause that the pharmacist has to sign? The pharmacy has to sign, to where once you come to him and he finds out, when you give your card and all that stuff, and he finds out that you have insurance, This is how wicked this is. We've been uplifting the wrong thing. You think that this is, they want to work with you, this and that. Watch how crazy these insurance companies are and these doctors that are giving you certain prescriptions that they can get a kickback from some of the stuff and keep making money off your insurance. And then the insurance company making more money. All right, right. And then you got to pay. Watch this. It was only $2 for him to buy it. It was $4 for you to buy it. Now, once you tell them that you have insurance, there's a clause that they have signed that specifically says that once they know you have insurance, they are not allowed to tell you that you can buy it for $4. You have to only go through the insurance. Did you know that? The people who keep talking about they're trying, the country who says, well, we can't afford free healthcare and this and that because it's just too much and you actually get more choices. No. Once you have told them that you have insurance, they have signed a clause that says that even if you could have bought it for $4, you have to pay for it through insurance. And now you got to pay a copay because that's what your insurance demands, which means that now it should have cost you $4 so that he could make $2, right? Now it's going to cost you $10 and he might make $2. The pharmacist ain't getting paid. And by law, he can't even really tell you because he signed a clause, right? To work for the company, he has to sign paperwork to say that we are not allowed to tell you that you could literally just not tell us you have insurance or not mention it or not even have it. And if you didn't have it, we would have to give you the medicine for $4. But instead, your insurance, right, is going to pay these pharmacists or the people who are making the drugs and are going to pay your doctors. And also you're going to have to come out your pocket for 10. So you're going to be charged 2.5 times more what you would have been charged for. And you're going to be charged 5 times what it was just to get the medication in there. And they cannot tell you because you have insurance. Now, insurance is supposed to be something that's used to do what? To protect you and allow you to be able to be healed. But no, insurance is something to make sure that the people who made the medicine can be paid. You see the lie? The lie is we can't give you anything because if we didn't have you pay insurance, if you didn't have to pay all the money you have to pay, if we didn't force you through Obamacare even to make sure that now everybody has to have insurance, at least that's what they tried. If we didn't force you to do that, then how could you actually get the service that you needed? When the reality is the insurance is not for you because you could come out of pocket with $4 easy. Some of y'all that say that you're homeless, poor on the street, you're destitute, you have no money in your pocket, that you got holes in your pockets. You could give that. You could give that every day. You can come up with $4 every day, right? If you had to buy medicine every day of the week, you could come up with $28 in a week. Even when you don't know how you would come up with $28, you can find a way. You sell your food stamp cards if you have to make sure you got your medicine. But they have you under the belief system that, man, yeah, we just got to make, no, that's for the insurance company. It's not for you. They will literally have you pay 2.5 times more because you have insurance. And once they realize you have insurance, by law, they cannot tell you you could just buy this for $4. Because if they ever got found out, they would lose their license, they would lose their money, they would lose their way of life. They're so tied into the system. We've uplifted a system that says it's more important to have you pay, have the person who wants to heal you pay $2 for it, have them now not be able to tell you it's only worth that you only need to pay $4 to them, and have you pay $10 copay plus make sure that you're paying on your insurance so that your insurance can make sure that somebody's getting a whole bunch of money. Now they'll say, hey, you got to pay $300 for that bottle because you have insurance, but the insurance is supposed to pay exactly what it's worth. That's what I thought. No. Not at all. Not at all. Right. And then when somebody comes and tells you this, what do we say? Conspiracy theorist. Crucify him. And all we just given you is facts. Now go look up and see what I'm saying is a lie. Might be the first time you heard about it, and therefore because it's the first time and because of the way I look and stuff, sometimes people just go, oh, here he is, just one of them, or blah, blah. Go look up and see if it's true. Right. But once you find out it's the truth, because some of y'all are on y'all call every man a liar thing, so call me a liar, find it out for yourself. See if you can find the video. Matter of fact, it's on Joe Rogan, I believe. There's a video that you can find somebody clearly showing you exactly how it works. Somebody who's in the game, right? right? And they all get rich off of you. Come on. So I'm just telling you, when you hear them talking about you better have insurance, blah, blah, whatever, the government, watch this, even the government's in on it. The government who's doing the stuff for your child support, right, will say that, hey, we won't make sure that the father will pay you $500 or the mother will pay you $500. But they'll say, hey, make sure that you pay them $200 a month for stuff they actually need and then pay $300 a month for insurance. When really you could have $450 a month for your child because medicine don't cost that much and you ain't going to be going to the doctor all day, every day anyways, especially if you're living healthy. But because the school system is set up to make you believe that you can't get an exemption letter, you think that your child's supposed to get every single shot under the sun. And so how can you cover that, let alone if you need to take them to the doctor on top of that, let alone what if something happens and they need surgery, this and that or whatever. As if surgery costs hundreds of thousands of dollars per surgery. The system is in on it to where they would have you actually get less money. But you know, the judges get paid off of child support too, because the judge has to do what? The judge, his pension is coming from child support. Most of your states, go look it up. I won't say all of your states. I can't support that, but I can tell you most of your states, more than what you would think, bare minimum, right, are out here. These judges, their pension, right, or the ones who are basically the ones who are saying, take the child away from the parents, take the child away from one parent, whatever the case might be, their pension comes from it, which means that they get paid, right? If they want to make more money, they have to rip more homes apart. You thought this was honorable. The honorable Judge so-and-so. There ain't nothing honorable about that. They need vacation. They need to live the life when they retire. This ain't because they care about you. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to laugh. I'm just saying. Sometimes, what's that old saying? You got to laugh sometimes to stop from crying, right? Like I'm just trying to tell you, this system is not for you. Never has been, never will be. We've uplifted the wrong thing for too long. It's time for you to start lifting up the Most High. I invite you to join me in that, because only what we do for Him will last. These people ain't trying to make sure that you last as far as your health. What makes you think they care about your eternal soul? Anyways, appreciate y'all, family. Thank you again for being on. Thank you for listening. I hope I didn't make too many stomachs churn, but sometimes, like I said, you got to just give straight up truth. I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow we do our regular stuff, 8 a.m. Eastern New York time, live session. On Kofi_43. If you're joining us on TikTok, we have a Kofi_40 page, Kofi_42, which is this page, Kofi_43, which is what we do our sessions in the risings early at 8 a.m. Eastern New York time. If you want to join us, if you like what you heard tonight. Then at 10 a.m. Eastern New York time, we'll have our Shabbat Shalom service. I believe Minister Shantae's up, because I accidentally thought she was up last or something. Like, hold on, let me double check right now. See, this is why I got people like Sister Renee to keep me honest. All right. No, she's doing Monday. I'm sorry. Who's doing Saturday? Who's doing tomorrow? Oh, I'm doing no, wait. Yeah, I'm doing tomorrow. Not bad. I'm doing tomorrow again, right? Tomorrow's the 11th. Yeah, today's the 10th. Praise God. So I'm doing the 11th. See, Minister Shante, that's why I had to have written down. I'm about to twice now try to get you to do something you ain't signing up for. That's not even I'm not even called to do that tomorrow, Pastor Kofi. What you doing? Early riser session you got covered up on the 13th, right? Okay, praise God. So I'll be on tomorrow for Shabbat Shalom service on the podcast. then at forgive me, hold on, I'm trying to get this together. Then at what are we supposed to do? You have to help me. Oh wow, I just saw a fox. That might be the same fox I was seeing when I was here before, but we were at a property further down that way. I just saw a huge fox running across there. That's crazy. I keep coming back to this area. I keep seeing foxes. Never seen foxes this much in my life. All right. Anyways, sorry, y'all. And so what? Anyways, so tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern New York time live session, 10 a.m. Eastern New York time Shabbat Shalom service. Then 12:30 p.m. Eastern New York time on Kofi_40, the original channel. We will have, or I'm sorry, Kofi_42. The second channel, this channel we're on right now, we'll have our watch party at 12:30 p.m. Eastern New York time. We'll finish up Malcolm X, and we'll talk about that some more. And then at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time, we're going to have our 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time, we're going to have our 4 hours of power, where we're going to and it's a blessing. And if you guys would like to, we ask for donation. This donation, obviously our donations are used for many different things in the kingdom. To be 100% honest with you, if you do give a donation, you can still be on. It's going to be on for free, like obviously. But if you don't mind giving a donation, that is actually used for my family, just to let you know, keep it 100 with you, so there's no shock or surprise. Or sometimes part of donations that we get for our organization is used to make sure that people within the organization are taken care of, especially for trips, food, things like that. And sometimes my family might need something, especially during this time of season. Sometimes we actually have a little less, or a lot less sometimes, of what we do, because a lot of people still in the Christmas stuff and turning around and bills and travel and all the stuff. So just keeping it a buck with you, this is something that we do that, if you honor us, we do use it for ourselves. So if you're going to be on and you feel like it, I don't care if it's $1, I don't care if it's 15 cents, all is appreciated. We thank you so much for doing so. But thank you all for being on. We appreciate you. And that'll be from starting at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time, called 4 Hours of Power. It's technically at least 5 hours, because we have some breaks in there for you. So, and we have some people that will be lending their gifts, as far as even some singing. So we're excited about that. We're trying to make sure that it's recorded, so that you guys who are on Patreon, you'll be able to listen to it later on. And even those who miss it, just let us know. We can give you the link. But we'll try to make sure we have some kind of Google Calendar invite out for you guys for that, so you guys can be aware of it when it's getting ready to show up. All right. But thank y'all. Appreciate you. Hope all is well with you. Hope you got a lot of word out of it. Pay attention to social media and things like that. Pay attention to the website. I will try my best. We were able to get another device. It's literally loading everything up now that needs to be loaded up. So I'm praying that everything will be up and ready to go by tomorrow. If so, my goal is that you guys will be able to call in, even if you can't. If there'll be certain things that we're going to do, that's going to be Q&A. We might open up a couple of times. So during the 4 hours of power, if you would like to call in, we'll give you the number. It's the same number that you guys text and email and stuff like that. We'll put it up on the screen tomorrow. But or not text and email, but you text and call, excuse me. But we'll try to utilize that for phone calls tomorrow. So during the session, if I say, hey, you guys can start calling, we'll try to see. They don't let us type it in, so I'll say it a few times and I'll post it on the screen. We'll put it in the chat for those that'll be looking at this stuff via YouTube, or looking at the recording and things of that nature. But we'll try to make sure that stuff is on there, but that you can call in during it. So we'll try to make sure. Watch party, once again, is at 12:30 p.m. Eastern New York time. 4 Hours of Power is going to be at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time. But thank you all. Appreciate you. I hope I didn't wear up my welcome. I went long. Praise Yah. But we're excited. We'll be in front of you guys again. Thank you so much. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your assistance. Thank you for the love that you've shown one to another. Thank you for being committed. And thank you for growing. We appreciate you. Continue to support one another, support each other's businesses, all that great stuff. And we look forward to talking to you guys real soon. All right. As always, we give all honor and praise to the Most High. We give all praise and honor to him for my wife, the Honorable Maya, who lives a life that's able to be honored. You can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. Not A-N-D, the letter N. Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. We thank you guys. We appreciate you. We honor you. And we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, you'll spend a lot of time with us tomorrow. Who knows? Don't forget also tomorrow, also stuff like our Shabbat school for the children. And that's still going to be on as well. Okay. So thank y'all. Appreciate you. We honored. Hopefully we'll see you and talk to you soon. And take care of each other. As always, it's been Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant to Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being a voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. And until we have the great privilege, opportunity, and responsibility of being in front of you all again, please remember, as always, that you are loved, you're necessary, you're majestic, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Either Shai Shalom, if you're dealing with our culture, or if you're dealing with the Julian calendar, Shabbat Shalom. Either way, have a great night, and may Yah be the one through Ravak HaKodash who covers you with Yahashua and guides your dreams. Peace.